Welcome to the Off the Road Again podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Ross.
I'm Dustin.
Okay. There was a definite lag there that time.
Yeah.
So I'll do a little snip in the edit. Which
Yeah,
Snip.
there's a huge
huge pause.
The audio video pause was questionable.
Well, the funny thing about podcasts is like even a second long pause makes people go, is it broken? Like what happened? Like,
Right.
Which in reality, it's a second is nothing. So as always, we're socially distanced. We did it before it was mandated. I'm in Kansas City. Ross is in the Northeast. And Dustin is our second closest guest, I think. Because we had Chris Holloway on from the MOORE Expo, and he's also in Springfield, Missouri. And so I think you get, depending on where you guys are in Springfield, it would be who.
Yeah, well, we should probably write down addresses to see who's the closest.
Meet up for beer one time is right.
Exactly. So, Ross, I'm going to hijack the show and go into it.
Do it.
I'm just going to go into my dumb story early because I actually was super close to Dustin, but it was like 2 weeks ago on a Saturday. I got a flat tire on the Sequoia, and so I've been wanting to downsize. I've got Goodyear SRAs on it, so it's a fine truck. It's a normal truck. I don't know what I'm doing right now because I'm trying to get an image, but I'm also talking to tell my story.
Where was the flat? Was it sidewall or was it?
So, nope, middle of the tread. Actually, I think I can pull up. Oh, no, it's just a picture of the flat. It's not very good. So middle of the tread pattern, I took it to a shop to actually be like, hey, can you guys fix this? It'd be really nice if you could fix this. And they were like, we like you a lot. We can't fix your tire.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, all right, fine. Here's the Sequoia. So it was actually on the left rear tire, and it was just a chunk of something in the road.
That's with all four tires inflated.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Ross.
Pointing at.
And as soon as I hit it, I was
Chris
like,
has frozen. As expected.
You got to remember, for me, we're not frozen. For the listener, we're not frozen. It's just for you that we're frozen.
Yeah.
Am I back yet?
You are.
Have I returned?
You're back.
You're
Okay.
good.
So hit a chunk of something. It was loud enough that I was like, oh, that was a fairly impactful noise, but like not a large item in the road that I could see. I did see something and I was like, well, I can swerve and risk the entire value of the vehicle, or I can just try to barely miss it. And I didn't.
Pointed straight at it going, I'm sick of the SRAs.
Yeah, that's not what I did. I tried to give the little twitch, and anyway, hit it. I was like, ooh, maybe I can limp it to the house if it goes bad. I wasn't that far away. And then the tire pressure warning light came on, and I was like, all right, so it's deflating fairly quickly. So I pulled over into like a Sam's Club's parking lot. It's got air suspension, so I knew I had already previously educated myself that I had to press the manual height control button. That puts it in a setup that otherwise, if I would have been trying to jack it up, it would have been trying to auto level itself the whole time. So by
bringing the suspension and the tire down as you're raising the vehicle off the ground.
Trying to maintain the contact patch, right? So hit the manual button. I grabbed the scissor jack. There's a little compartment in the back. Grabbed it. Ran the scissor jack all the way up. Got the flat off. Went to put the spare on and was like 4 inches off.
Mm.
Turns out the scissor jack is not the jack that should have been in the back of the Sequoia, and I just didn't pay attention to that. Eventually went and found, so the Sequoia has a hatch that you open up, and that's where I got the scissor jack out of. But once you open that hatch, at the back of it, there's another little compartment that you can open, and behind that compartment is where the bottle jack lived. Got the bottle jack, got it out super fast. So first of all, just was super frustrated with the scissor jack and trying to figure it out. Probably spent way too much time doing that. Got the bottle jack up, got the spare on, and went, okay, not going to be able to maintain this forever. Took the tire to the tire shop, and they were, nope, we can't fix it. So I started shopping, and Ross knows this, I started shopping for like 18-inch Tundra wheels. And so I found a set in Springfield. So 2 weeks ago, drove down there, grabbed them. They had some rubber on them. So I threw took those, ran to a tire shop up the street from where I bought them off Campbell. Springfield, the entire town has a mask mandate, right? That's the information I kind of got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not a single dude in the tire shop.
Yeah, like only 50% abide by it, though.
Exactly. I was like, all right, so that's not enforced. Super chill dudes. They like literally they threw a valve in two of them, inflated them, and was like, all right, we'll see you later. And I was like, what do I owe you? And he's like, no, we're good. He's like, you want to tip the guys? And I was like, I haven't carried cash in like 2 years, man. Like, do they have Venmo? Like, can I send them? Like, and I asked the tire tech, I was like, do you have Venmo? And he's like, what's that?
He said, what's that?
He said, what's that? And like, Springfield's not nowhere. Like, it's a decent sized town. Like, it's
Where
a
did he
city.
drive to Springfield from?
Huh?
Where did he drive to Springfield from?
I see that
to go to work that day.
That's the rest of the Ozarks, and we won't make those jokes. I got family down there. Hence the fact I knew exactly how long it would take me to get to Springfield and back. So I was super close to Dustin picking up wheels and tires. The rubber that is on the back there, Mastercrafts. And
they're fine.
No, they're not.
No.
No. The amount of tread that is left on these tires are the noisiest tires that I've ever had on a vehicle in all of eternity. Like,
that's bad.
Ridiculously loud.
Yeah, that's
my dad has hearing aids that are Bluetooth to his phone. So when he gets a phone call, like the phone just goes straight to his hearing aids.
Beams into his ear.
Yeah. So he's talking to my aunt on the phone as we were starting to leave town on 13. And as I was like picking up speed, he's like, I gotta let you go. I can't hear anything. And I was like, it's Bluetooth into your ears. And he was like,
pretty bad.
Nope, I can't hear. I was all right. So it sucks. It's really loud. I'm looking at a couple of options. I'm probably going to go with a 33.
If you can fit them, you might as well.
Well, I'm not sure if I can. So
therein lies the catch.
Yeah. If I go with like the stock size is a 32. Like it's not tiny. It would be a 275, 65, 18. And the 33 would be the same width, but just adding about an inch more in height. Obviously 33 and 32 got them dumb. But I don't know if that mean taller would rub.
Is there a good Sequoia forum?
I Hate Mud has like a Sequoia section.
Okay.
And there's a Facebook group called Toyota Sequoia Off-Road. I can't get a lot of good information on there. If you remember, do you remember when we talked to Long Range America, those guys, and they suggested a guy? So I may have connected with him online.
Okay.
And so I just need to really verify with him if that's the right case. So I have Jeff checking on another tire option.
Good. Pursue that option. They are good tires.
The first, so I think the first option is the one you're thinking of, and very competitive, but it wasn't 100% what I was looking for. So I'm just gonna have Jeff check one more thing, and then I'll pull the trigger on one or the other.
Fair enough.
Because I got that other thing that I griped to you about that we don't want to talk about on the podcast until we get Robbie on here. I got my money back from that. So I have money. I have available funds, but I don't want to spend all of them on tires.
Don't blame you.
So
tires are expensive, and the thing about them is you could have to replace them very soon.
Correct. Did you hear that?
So barely.
I mean, I might know a guy who puts hundreds of pairs of tires on Sprinters and other off-road vehicles all year that could probably get you a discount.
See, we might. Yes.
And he's local. And he's local.
I mean, we've already proven that I'm willing to drive to Springfield.
This problem would have never continued had you went to him the other day.
It was right there. So Ross, what is this thing you
I've got
put
tires in Connexes just for days.
Really?
Anything you want to ship to Connecticut?
A 4Runner.
Chris froze.
No,
yeah. Shipping a tire anywhere is terrible. Say that again? Oh, did ship a 4Runner. True.
I was saying a 4Runner is all that we were
Oh,
interested in. Oh my gosh.
That's true.
What is this thing you put in the show notes? Because I've never seen it before.
Yeah, I want to talk about this thing real quick. This was like the only piece of off-road 4x4 news this week that I saw. So there is a Russian company called UAZ, and they build something called the Patriot, which is about as primitive of a full-fledged off-roader as you can probably buy today. And by primitive, I don't mean in terms of like luxury features. I mean in terms of like running gear. And supposedly they're planning to sell these things in the States, which sounds obscene because, I mean, it's all the things that nobody really, there's a diesel, it has an optional manual, it's got, there's a factory rear locker that you can get. It's got, good approach angle. The ground clearance is not great. It's like under 9 inches, but supposedly they're going to start selling this thing here on our shores at like $27,000 for like a diesel.
So cheap.
Yeah, a diesel. So the way I'm reading it is it's going to start at $27,800.
$27,800.
At least based on conversion or what they say they want to sell it at. And they're claiming that it's going to have
does
like
the KGB spy equipment come extra? Or
you have to disable that on your own.
It's like the fishing trawlers offshore with the listening antennas.
Yeah, exactly. But they're saying, 5 years, 60,000 mile warranty. And I don't know. It reminds me of things in the 90s, like the Isuzu Trooper, and like just the big boxy, like, okay, you want something to go off-road that also is like passable on the street, but isn't going to cost, like $55,000, like a,
dude,
like a
27
Wrangler.
grand. That's cheap nowadays. Like that's not
27 grand is almost $10,000 less than the average new sale, the average new vehicle goes for. So
yeah, it's like mid 30s now. Like,
yeah.
And that's like,
I think it was like 36 and change last year.
That's like Camrys and Accords and
right. So
like
this thing is priced like a, what is a $27,000 Jeep? I don't know, a Renegade or a Cherokee?
There aren't many. Yeah.
Right. So if you can walk out with the $30,000 vevehicle that's got,
not a Cherokee,
not even a good Cherokee, like a Cherokee Trailhawk is probably way more than that.
Like a 2005 Liberty was $27,000.
You're right. The 2005 Liberty, the second gen Liberty is just about the same shape as this thing too. And they're supposedly going to sell this pickup thing, which the proportions don't quite work as well.
Dude, that's like every Aussie Ute. That's like the Hilux, not the Hilux. What's the Foreigner version? Crap.
Oh,
the Surf or whatever.
Surf, yeah. But I don't know. We always clamor for basic off-roaders here, and this is kind of that. And I don't think anybody will buy it because nobody wants a diesel or a stick. I think there's going to be an auto.
I found an image of the interior with a stick.
Yes. Supposedly GM sourced parts on that too, and the steering wheel looks kind of GM sourced. Also, it looks like a cruise wheel or something.
The headlight knob looks very GM. But
I don't know, a sub $30,000 true 4-wheel drive vehicle that has like a locker and that like rough and tough, beat the shit out of it and not care kind of mojo is exactly what the off-road world needs, because right now for 27 grand, everybody's just buying, 5-year-old 4Runners. So a new option with a warranty and everything.
See, when you said UAZ, this is what I was thinking of.
Yeah, right. Not quite. Not quite.
They still make these new.
That's insane. They had one of those in Lone Way Round that they were bombing around with.
Did they?
And it was, yeah.
That might have been where I borrowed that picture from then.
But
I think they're still making them new.
That's the only news. So yeah, look for the Brimachtaus. Watch that pronunciation entirely. But
it's so opposite of actual Taos.
I just don't know if the U.S. market is ready for and willing to buy something Russian, Yeah,
production for the UAZ 452 says 1965 to present.
Nice. Oh, good. The UAZ Patriot or Bremak Taos or whatever they're going to call it here, refundable $100 deposit.
They're getting that Tesla money.
Seriously, they're bankrolling their own thing here. So that's it.
Okay.
That was what I wanted to talk about. I can't stop looking at this fucking thing though. It's got like the nose of it looks like the what's the Nissan
Like a Rogue?
minivan? No, what was the minivan?
It looks like a Chrysler 300, a Grand Vitara, and a Land Rover had sex.
I'm gonna give a show update actually. Lynn Woodward, when she was on the show, was talking about her, what was it, a Suzuki XL7?
XL7, yeah.
She had it out in Moab.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
She gave an Instagram post that was like, "Hey guys, it's out and about." So, and I don't know that they did much, like skid plates, looks like some OME, some Old Man Emu suspension, some KO2s because KO2s.
Yeah, because everybody does. Yeah, Rocky Road sliders, KO2s. That's very cool. I mean, shit, I've never seen an XL7 on the trail.
Oh God, no. But like, this is the before and after, and I love this.
Oh my God.
I had a Suzuki Sidekick one time with Old Man Emu suspension. It was great.
Right?
Sidekicks were cool.
I think there are so many
Yeah,
more
man, mine
options.
was badass. It didn't. I mean, it was like a automatic 4-cylinder, so it barely moved. But
Go up one size on the tires and it won't even accelerate.
Which I just wrote
45 wrapped out. You know.
Oof. Oof. That's tough.
So, Dustin, you have come to us with something that I love. Given that you have 4 kids and I have 4 kids, I love a van. How'd you get started in vans?
Well, first of all, I don't love vans, and so I had to make vans cool. So I work for a company. I work as the director of product development for a company called the Springfield Coach Group. It's actually been around for 40 plus years here in Springfield. If you guys don't know, at one time, Springfield, Missouri was the limousine manufacturing capital of the world. So there was tons of limo companies, and this was one of them.
I did not know that, actually.
About 15 years ago. Yeah, absolutely. About 15, and there's still a lot here. I mean, there's only 2 stretch companies here, us and Executive Coach Builders, but then there's another Sprinter converter. So anyway, 15 years ago, 2 gentlemen, a father and son team, Gary Spaniak Jr. and Gary Spaniak III, Florida natives, came up here, wanted something a little more industrial, sold their companies they had in Florida and bought the Springfield Coach Group, and continued to push the legacy of the stretch limousine. You know, when the Sprinter came to America, outside of just basically being a bread truck, the CEO industry, the limo industry, really took a big catch to them. They have a lot of amenities and features, functional features that you can't get out of a stretch limousine. For example, you can stand all the way up in them. Right. Headspace, comfort, safety is a big deal because they're not stretched. We have been converting between 150 and 200 Sprinters a year for about the last 5 years.
Whoa.
Wow.
And then, and so we sell to anybody from large livery companies who actually have fleets of limousines that they rent out to, you know, celebrities. We've done several celebrity builds. I actually, I'm a military veteran. I got out of the military. Always been a car guy, really big into hot rods and stuff. And I was actually in the funeral industry. Being in the funeral industry does not pay shit unless you own the funeral home. So having 4 kids, I got offered a job from Gary Spaniak Jr. to come in and work in marketing and development, things like that. Brought some other designs before we got to the first thing I said, like my first week, was let's build an adventure van. And this company is like the craziest place you've ever been to. I mean, everything is, if you see somebody running down the plant floor and a Tyrannosaurus Rex blow up outfit shooting a Nerf gun at somebody else. Like that's just every day at the office.
That's amazing.
It's like every ad
They
agency I've
pretty
worked
much
at, yeah.
let me,
Right.
yeah, they pretty much love fresh ideas. I mean, they're kind of that old world idea that it doesn't matter who brings the idea. If the idea brings the company growth, then we'll go with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with this, let's build an adventure van. And they were like, no, why not? This is like the wave of the future. And at the time they were, limos were selling huge. Sprinters. I mean, we couldn't even get Sprinters. We were so backed up. We were like backed up like 6 months on Sprinters or Sprint orders. So I designed a hearse, and that really took off, and a few other things. And then when COVID hit, it just decimated the transportation industry with the ability for people to get together. Being a family man, having 4 kids and traveling, my wife and I the only thing we could do to keep having like kind of that summer fun with our kids is to buy a camper. And in the midst of that, I went back to the owners and said, we really need to reconsider this Sprinter build. And much to my chagrin, they were like, oh yeah, we've already reconsidered that and designing one. So, so who gets the credit? I don't know. But what's important is I went right to work consulting with people I knew in the Sprinter world that were doing, camper conversions, people who had already owned Winnebago Rebels, benchmark vehicles, storyteller vehicles, glamper vans, things like that. I started just embedding myself in the community, getting ideas, putting together an idea. Yeah. And so we came up with an idea, and I didn't know that people like Benchmark and Storyteller, these guys are booked out like 6 months, a year, 2 years. And we're never booked out. I mean, not even on limos. We have 100,000 square foot facility with 70 hardworking employees. So, booked out means your vehicle may take 3 months to build rather than like 2 years. So I started doing some light advertising, and then the orders just started rolling in faster than we get vans. So we rebranded to a separate style, and we called it Ozark Mountain Adventure Vans. And we've just been killing it. I mean, I don't know really what we're doing different. The whole Sprinter van scene is very copycat. So, we all kind of piggyback off each other. But we just, we can build vans fast. We can get them fast because we convert so many vans a year anyway. We have really tight relationships with Mercedes dealers. Mercedes of Westchester, Ohio is like our main supplier of vans. And they do a great job of getting us there. And they're adventure van folks, so they even bring us fresh ideas. But we just like to do custom stuff. The owners are really into custom hot rods, and they love to put their own touches on it. So we took off with it, and the first 5 or 6 vans we've built are some of the most custom vehicles I've ever seen. The one in this picture is like, it's actually my favorite, just because the color scheme is so nice. But we do everything from full showers to regular water ran toilets to cassette toilets, composting toilets. But the big thing on my end is I had to look at what everybody else was doing, and then have to tell the customer like what kind of research we've done to save them money and save them time and save them like a big headache if something should fail. So that's been like my focus on the whole thing, is delivering a superior product at a smaller price with a great warranty where everybody can get in this, because this whole COVID shit, like we're all in it together. So.
So I went to Utah, and I can't. When was that? Like late October. My dad and I were supposed to go to Iceland. We didn't get to go to Iceland, so we went to Utah instead, which it was pretty great. Like Utah is actually an amazing place.
Not bad for a consolation prize.
Not Iceland, but it was pretty amazing. I saw so many Sprinters and so many like the Winnebago thing. Like, and I was just joking with him. I was like, I think those are like like $90,000. Nope, I'm off by 100,000. They're $200,000, which if I can save some,
warranty sucks.
Actually, I don't know that. Is this, sorry, real fast, the last picture I had up, is that a slide out on a van? Is this a pop out, or is that just in process?
You're talking about, so yes and no. So this is not a design of mine. So there's a product out there called a flare space. The flare space replaces the back windows, and it basically gives the owner of the van an extra 4 inches on each side. So it adds a total width to the bedroom area where the bed is 8 inches, right? Because 8 whole inches.
That's a big deal in something that's only 8
8
inches.
inches makes all the difference.
The
Oh
Sprinter
God, that
van.
joke had to be said. Sorry.
Yeah, it would definitely in my life if anybody's got 8 inches to spare. So the premise behind it is one of the big hiccups in camping, outdoor, anything right now is it's grown like 300% in the last 12 months.
It's crazy.
So the issue with that is when it comes to buying flare spaces and Webasto fridges and things like that, or Webasto heaters and isotherm fridges, is they're all on back order. And again, we have 100,000 square feet with 70 employees when we're building custom limos. So the owner, Gary, decided he would design his own type of flare. So basically what that is that's an in-house flare from the back. From the back, when you look at it, it kind of looks like a disproportionate Star Wars fighter.
Yeah, kind of.
But from a full side profile, it actually blends in with the car. So from the side, you can't tell it's flared. The big difference is it's made of all-American steel. So you want these vans to be durable, and something that's made of. There's just a lot of variables that can go wrong with fiberglass. Even though we use fiberglass in some of our other applications, we just wanted to make it real rugged, real stiff.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
That's pretty cool. So one thing I wanted to ask, is it predominantly customers buying a van, bringing you the van and saying, here's what I want to do? Or is it you're picking the van up straight from the dealer, putting a package together, and then marketing it?
So that's kind of what makes us, another thing that makes us a little different is we do have a large inventory of vans on hand that we get directly from Mercedes. And so customers don't have to work. We have a lot of customers call and they say, I've got a van on order. It won't be until July, but I want something faster. We have them on hand. And so we have them in all different colors, sizes, chassis configurations, things like that. And it is kind of slim pickings right now because there's some caveats to the 2020 Mercedes line that are still getting worked out. But we can provide the van, all the materials and the conversion. And because of the type of business we are and what we've been doing for so long, we have actually banks that work directly with us. So the person doesn't have to do anything to get you started. You just need 10% down of what your van costs. And, as long as you qualify with financing. And then it takes us, anywhere from 12 to 14 weeks. And then the bank, cuts the check for the rest of the money and you take your van home.
That's pretty crazy.
But we do, with that being said, we do have a number of customers that say, I have a van, but this, fill in the blank upfitter, can't get me in for 6 months, 8 months, a year. I was wondering if I could just bring it to you. And we're more than welcome to just charge a conversion cost for that as well.
Okay.
Sorry, I found an Instagram post from a previous topic.
Yes. For a lucky Sprinter. What size are those? I can't read.
Yeah. I don't even know what those are. We just finished that van today. I don't know if it's even on our Facebook yet. That van is like insane. That van is built for a doctor in Colorado. And basically when we got done designing one, the whole inside looks like a cigar humidor or a sauna or something.
So lots of wood.
That's pretty rad.
Oh,
yeah, it's all wood lined. It's got a really cool bike garage in the back with a whole table that pulls out. It's got the isotherm fridge and the Webasto heater. It's got a full shower that we hand built. It's got a rack. So he likes to do a lot of skiing. So it's to hang his wet clothes in there. All the seats were changed to leather. It's got Wi-Fi repeater on it, or a internet repeater or something on it. It actually has the roof nest XL, which is a king size bed roof nest that goes on the rack we build, plus a deck, plus air conditioning, heating. I mean, it's probably one of the nicest we've ever built. And the thing is it's about as decked out as they come. And I think he might've gotten to 140 grand. So
that's it.
That's the show. That's the shorty pool vehicle. Yeah. See, that's the thing is we like to be, again, our mission statement is for everybody to be able to get one. Right. But at the same time, we don't try to hit a home run on every sale. We would rather sell a lot more vehicles than just sell one or two a year.
Okay.
I'm doing the math on seatbelts in this image, and I can definitely fit all 4 kids in it, except I need the car seat.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
so
look like
this-
there's latch.
There is actually
Really?
that build. Yeah. So that build, you can go to our www.ozarkmountainadventurevans.com and you can see a whole video of this that we did.
Jesus.
That was done for a lady and her husband, the Poole family out of California. They have a son who I can't remember. He's a boy with special needs. And so they like to surf and go out, but their boy can't, he has medicine that has to be refrigerated and heated, things like that. So they built that. So their kid with special needs can still go to the beach and their other son can still have friends and entertain. So behind the driver and passenger seat, there's actually a forward facing seat for two that actually has the latch system there. And that table actually turns into a bed. That build actually has 4 beds in it and a rear dinette.
How much of it is your own custom fab work? Like, is it almost like, is it 95% stuff that you guys are concocting on the fly?
I would, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's 90 to 95%. So, yeah, we have a motto. We just throw shit against the wall till it sticks. So the crazy thing is the CEO of the company, Gary Jr., he just has like a really like a primal intuition of knowing what works and what doesn't work. So with that said, when a customer calls and says, I want a bed that goes up and down, it takes him like 8 minutes to figure out exactly what he wants. We
Brain
do
just
have
works
an
that
R&D
way.
department that's, yeah, he just, and it's with everything, whether it's hot rods or pickup trucks or race cars or whatever. And then his son, the vice president of the company, Gary the third, we call him G3. He has an extremely high mechanical aptitude. So while Gary kind of puts the idea in place and puts it forward, G3 really makes the reality. I mean, I wouldn't say he makes reality happen. That kind of sounds like the other owner doesn't do much, but he's able to diagnose things and say, put it here, put it there. And can really see the finished product before it's done.
It seems like the limo side of the company would give you guys so much experience with interior lighting.
So yeah, so what you're seeing in this picture, for example, our slatted ceilings, that's something we just kind of made up, and it's one of our highest requested items. I mean, literally, we were just like, what are we going to do for this ceiling? And we were like Pinteresting and all this, and then all of a sudden, like, let's try this with acrylic and LEDs, kind of like our limo ceilings. But we have a warmer bulb temperature we can put in them that's got more of a kind of a candle light gold color that people like. But the limo finish gives a really good brightness. But yeah, when you talk about finishing limo interiors, most of the people that work in our facility have worked in the car converting industry for around 10 years. So the ability to find issues and work around them. So when a customer wants something, we're really good. Those guys, we all put our heads together, and those guys are really good at figuring out what they want, when they want it, how they want it, and fabricating it right there. And we're right in the heart of the industrial area. We have good relationships with other fabrication places. We have guests come over, consult with us, and things like that.
What's the craziest thing that you've had requested?
Oh man,
Had to ask.
I don't know.
Say that one's classified.
We get a
Ross.
lot of stripper pole requests.
Stripper pole requests.
That checks out.
I had a guy call one time and want to know if I could build like a Sprinter that had a weed hookah that dropped down from it was like an 8-passenger. He wanted it to drop down in front of every seat, but he wanted to light it from like the same area.
Oh my God.
And research and testing that was quite the experience. We ended up not delivering.
So you just had to drive to Illinois to test that one out.
Right. I promise it's R&D.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we have had people like, we just had a guy that wanted us to build one of the captain's chairs to look like a regular captain's chair, but if he had to take a shit, he could just lift the bottom cushion off and shit in the toilet and just cover it. And
just
so
driving along,
kind of wild.
just going.
Yeah, just taking the love seat, just taking a crap. I guess.
How do you make the toilet paper discreet? What like pooping
That's
on
in
the
the
seats?
armrest.
Yeah, taking a shit in the seat's not new technology, but
Yeah,
how do you hide the teepee?
It's a feng shui thing. You've got to learn how to use the 3 shells.
Demolition Man reference.
Well done.
So good.
That was funny.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
that's
is funny. I love a good Demolition Man reference.
They can't beat the Three Shells, man.
No. That's fantastic. We just starts cussing at it to get the tickets to come out. So good. I lost my notes.
Just Google sometime. Have you ever Googled how do you use the Three Shells?
Yes. And I felt like, doesn't Stallone have a response to that? Oh man, now I can't remember.
It's just a picture of somebody taking 2 clamshells and digging a piece of shit out of their ass.
That sounds about
Nice.
right.
Checks out.
So you said you have an interest in cars. Is any of it 4x4 off-road related, or are you just kind of all over the place?
So, I'm just all over the place. So I started, of course, I'm a military brat. I'm from Illinois originally. I own all 4x4 vehicles, nothing too crazy. But long story short, when I've always been into, camping and kind of off-roading and things like that, but not to an extent of the overlanding in the last couple of years. It's kind of grown in our local area.
Mhm.
I've got a 1994 GMC 2-door Yukon that I'm kind of turning into an overland vehicle, I guess you could say.
Oh, those things are the best.
So, but I've always been a hot rod guy. I grew up, around 69, 67, 68 Camaros, Chevelles, Novas, GTOs, things like that, building and selling those things. And they're great and you can have fun with your family in them, but you don't really get to experience the full envelope that nature has to offer from a hot rod.
Yep.
So I like to hunt and fish and camp, and it just kind of caught me there, and I just started getting more and more, and it's just kind of learning a new thing. They're relatively simple to build. I mean, you can do without geeking out with all the stuff in the stores. You can build a pretty nice off-road rig, reasonable, out of something relatively cheap. So I just like it because it's affordable. It can be affordable if you want it to be.
Wait, you said 94 is the one you have?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a 350, right?
Engine-wise?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like 8 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, those things are awesome.
I love looking for pictures of these things.
I'm a huge fan of
There
those.
it is, right there.
Because growing up, my dad had one of the 4 doors of those, so obviously I thought the 2-door version was the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
His
right.
His famously
that I've
overheated
got,
towing trailer with the Wrangler on it, like in the middle of nowhere, didn't traumatize me as a child at all.
Yeah. This one I've got was actually bought by my wife's father when it was brand new.
Whoa.
He tragically passed away like 6 years ago, and she got it, and it just kind of sat, and then I started tinkering with it and getting it to run, and then kind of updating it and things like that. It's just kind of became like a family project. So it has literally never left our family's hands since it was new.
That's awesome.
Hang on to it. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And those things are super cool though. So it's not like it just ended up with something weird.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's what General Motors should have brought back. I mean, Ford brought back the Bronco, and General Motors brought us a GMC Acadia with weird headlights.
It's not even an Acadia. The new Blazer, it's like a freaking Chevy Trax or something, an Equinox with like
I tell everybody it's
body kit.
It's what they do with the leftover HHR chassis.
Somebody was just talking about those as those being cool, and I was like,
I don't know about cool. They had the HHR SS. That was like interesting, but not cool.
So from my time at the aftermarket pickup truck parts company, they had an SSR.
Yeah.
But it was an SSRX, which I think meant it had the big engine.
So the first SSR, I think, was an LS1, and then it ended up either with an LS2 or an LS3. I can't remember.
I think it was whatever the Corvette engine was, is what the X was.
Yeah, those things were actually pretty. I like them. I'm a sucker for weird shit. But you can get a stick shift and a manual transmission convertible pickup. Like, sounds fun.
So, yeah, it had the LS2, which was the same as the C6 Corvette.
Dustin's like, I'm out for that reason.
Yeah,
nope.
They're weird as shit.
Uh-huh.
My neighbor has a bright yellow one that he leaves outside all year round. I don't even know what he's doing with it.
He's punishing it.
Yeah, right?
That being said, I saw somebody had safari'd an Aztec come on Facebook.
In hindsight, the Aztec's not that bad.
Well, it's
Yeah,
the
that-
Lamborghini Urus. So
Also that.
I'm in a Facebook
Remember
group
they
that's
came
like,
with a tent? You could open the back and like
Yeah.
there's the tent.
Oh yeah,
attached.
they did.
where is this horrible monster? Come on. It had to be in
It's
the safari group.
horrible, man. Show me the abomination.
They lifted one on Top Gear. They took a green one on Top
Ah,
Gear and lifted it.
Found it. I think this is a rendering, but it's just a horrible rendering. Well, it's really well done rendering of a horrible looking vehicle. I kind of felt bad Toyo got tagged in it too. Like,
Yeah, right. Toyo was like, well, I didn't bargain for any of this.
it's like somebody took
Yeah,
a Dakar
that's terrible.
truck and then slapped the Aztec body on top of it.
I think that's literally what it is.
Is it
Yeah.
one of those like X-rayed minis or whatever?
Who knows? Who
But
knows?
I kind of like it
That's
built out and
terrible.
crazy like that.
I'm telling you, the Aztec is not that crazy if you think about it in modern terms.
Right. It was just before its time.
100%.
What engine's in an Aztec?
Oh god, like a
3.4 liter
reef.
V6.
Yeah. Oh god.
Oh yeah, that's got what 105 horsepower.
When it was new.
Yeah.
It is running. Oh, come on. Just give me the engine specs. It won't tell me. Wikipedia.
That's because it knows we're gonna make fun of it.
Yeah. Dan Neal is listed as naming it one of the 50 worst cars of all time. It violated one of the principal rules of car designs. We like cars that look like us. With its multiple eyes and supernumerary nostrils, the Aztec looks deformed and scary.
It does, but
Dan
it
Neal
also
really writes well.
apply that to the Nissan Juke. Apply that to all of the other shit that's come along that's got the headlights like that.
So 185 horsepower was the peak horsepower number with 210 pound-feet of torque. It's more than the Land Cruiser had.
Fair.
Yeah, and it's also an eighth of the weight.
That's true. It's
Yeah,
made of
thrust-
plastic, not metal.
Yeah, power to weight ratio is not good. That was a fun
Like weight to power ratio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody else did renderings of a Lambo lifted. That's not good.
Yeesh.
Okay, I got off of that topic. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we could go down the rabbit trail of questionable stuff.
So, Dustin, we kind of ask these questions each time, like your favorite off-road experience or camping experience. Like, you see, we got to give him time to think. I saw his
Oh
eyes
man,
go back.
I'm such a redneck. I don't have any really cool like sitting over. I was in the military for a long time, so there's a lot of camping. I actually loved being in some parts of Afghanistan and seeing the countryside. So I think that if it was like my favorite off-roading experience, when I was about 22, I went to Moab with a bunch of friends. It's the only time I'd ever been there.
Cool.
And it was it was pretty cool to see like the money they put into those rock climbers and things like that. And then the camping community, when you get to that area, is just like it's a real lifestyle, and so that was probably one of the coolest, outside of some crazy redneck stuff. As far as off-road, there was one time. So in 2017, my wife and I bought a brand new, fully loaded Jeep Wrangler Rubicon.
Nice.
And there's an off-road park not far from here. And I was like, yeah, let's take it to the off-road park. And so every trail's labeled like a 1 to a 5. And so, I was like, I'm in a Rubicon, 1s are for pussies. I'm going to go down to 2. And we get down and we can't turn around. And the only way to get out was to drive through a 4.
Nice.
So we're in
Nice.
a $58,000
Oh my
Brand
God.
new vehicle.
fully loaded. It's got like 30 miles on it. We're just flexing it out and just romping up the road. And everybody's like, man, that guy is either really stupid or really rich.
Or both.
Yeah, or both.
So,
At least he's enjoying himself.
yeah.
So
So we
Does that also
we
qualify as,
survived it.
Yeah.
Everything was fine. And then
does it also qualify as your worst experience then?
my worst experience was like leaving. So we survived the whole day. We get ready to leave. We're talking to some friends. I was like, yeah, I'll see you later. Sun was down. I put it in reverse and back it right into a tree and crushed the taillight and the part of the body where the taillight mounts. Just looked like Iron Man just punched it.
Yeah.
Caused like $2,500 in damage.
Oh,
So
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
you had done all the gnarly trails. You got to the parking lot and hit a tree on the way out.
And
That's okay. I feel your
exactly,
pain. Once upon a time, we went off
I'm
roading out.
surprised I'm still married after that.
Yikes. Yeah, once upon a time. Don't feel that bad. I was off roading out with my dad in Pennsylvania, and we put the quads on the trailer, and you have to check out so they know that they don't have to go clean you up in the woods at the end of the day. And I was exhausted, and I could make all the excuses in the world. Put the truck in gear, went to pull out, and just drove the trailer straight into this fucking huge rock. Like the kind of rock that's like almost as big as a person. I was like, okay, I deserve that. So I feel your pain.
Perfect.
Rocks always make.
Yeah, I've been there.
So my aunt and uncle live in Springfield, Dustin, and so I've been back and forth between Kansas City and Springfield more times than I can count.
Wow.
And one year driving through, we were on the highway in Springfield, and my mom looked at the rocks coming out of the side of the road and asked my dad, "Do you think they moved these in here?" And it is a joke forever now. Like every time we pass a rock, "Hey mom, do you think they moved that in here?" Like every
That'll never die.
time. Yeah. Same thing, like literally same trip. Dad's driving, she's in the passenger seat. She tells my dad,
Yeah.
"Hey, Gary, close your eyes," because she's going to turn on the dome light and she doesn't want to ruin his night vision. He's driving the car, Mom. Like,
Right. Right.
So,
Crazy.
do you think they move these rocks in here? Gets
we
followed
told
up with, "Gary, close your eyes."
We told our kids when I moved down here that the sign "Falling Rock" meant there was an Indian.
Oh no.
Oh.
Well, that's better than the Grand Tour's excuse for
Yeah,
whatever
we used to
French
just tell
island they were on.
You know,
Balkans or whatever. Falkland
I don't even
Islands.
know.
Yeah.
All of the chain on the fence. So let's build a
Yeah.
highway in the ocean. My favorite part of that is they said 30-foot waves,
Yeah.
but they didn't take into account sea level rise from climate change. So you should probably go like 36-foot waves or 40-foot waves.
Mhm.
They're doomed. They have a highway in the ocean.
time will tell.
Time will tell. Hello, New Orleans? Okay, yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just got done watching an episode of The Expanse where they had a tsunami on an alien world, and I was like, huh, that was cool.
Didn't that happen in Interstellar?
I don't know. I didn't watch Interstellar.
You should watch Interstellar.
Somebody told me it was like 3.5 hours long, and it was super boring.
It's like 2.5, and it's amazing.
And Matt Damon gets lost again.
Yes.
Like, I'll just watch The Martian again. That
He
one's
gets lost
fun,
in
at
every
least.
movie.
Yeah.
Yes. It's worth watching.
I'm Matt Damon.
Damon.
Now I'm
Matt
showing
Damon.
my age. God, what year did that come out?
Oh, God.
2004?
2000? Yeah.
2004. Team America World Police. Oh, my God.
That movie will never get old.
Fuck yeah.
America.
Never.
Fuck yeah.
Especially when the puppets shit on each other.
It's so
Yeah.
great. It's just, yeah. They'll never do another puppet movie, though, they said. The amount of work that had to go into them motion
Can't
capture.
imagine.
I don't blame
One
him.
and done. One and done.
Oh, I miss
So good, though.
Here's a fun fact, Ross. South Park came out when I was a junior in high school.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah.
It was like in the throes of its heyday when I was in high school, so makes sense.
I don't even remember what year. God, was that? Yeah, August of 1997.
Just
Yeah, for me, it was the fall of my junior year. Fuck, I'm old.
still one of the most quoted.
I guess I should clarify.
Shows
It's my
that-
junior year of high school.
Yeah.
It's not my junior year of college, at least. Sweet, Dustin.
Cool.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Nice to meet you, Dustin.
Hey, thanks for having us. We're excited. So thanks for welcoming us to the show and the overland world. And you'll be seeing a lot more from us. Just, follow Ozark Mountain Adventure Vans online on Facebook, YouTube, all that shit. And, follow the shenanigans.
And
Is that-
all the shenanigans.
Is that follow you for more MOORE?
Hey, hey.
Yeah. Oh, Chris will like that one.
Yeah, you will.
You definitely will.
Which that's coming up. February is MOORE Expo.
Yeah.
I think it's like Valentine's Day.
Second weekend in February.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it's Valentine's
we were
Day
told-
weekend. So
Yeah.
There is a website to look this up, Chris.
Yeah, so we actually got a whole bunch of booths there and stuff. We'll be giving out all kinds of free swag. We've got a van. A couple vans we're gonna unveil there. Kind of a secret project we're working on, and giving some show discounts and stuff like that. You get some people in the vans. So
Cool.
come check us out and say hey and have a beer with us and rock on.
I'm
Sweet.
sure people are going to be pretty stoked about the about seeing your stuff there.
I hope so.
So social was at Ozark Mountain Adventure Vans. So you almost challenged Ross for a number of letters and social media tags, because Ross is at no, not like the one from Friends.
I had challenged to do our hashtags like OMAV, like OMAV, Ozark Mountain Adventure Vans, and I'm just an employee, so I got overridden.
Fair.
It sounds like OMAV sounds like something too. Ooh, it's a spa.
That's not totally off cue or like off the mark.
I mean, he had a van that had a spa. Oh, that's an interesting. Yeah. I'm glad you guys stayed away from that hashtag on Instagram. That is interesting. Let's say it has
You should leave it at that.
international flair to it, and some open mic nights.
Oh boy. Sounds questionable.
All right, that's it. That's all for the show.
Before it goes any further.
Yep, you can read what we write on Hooniverse, the Hooniverse on Twitter, the Real Hooniverse on Instagram. I've been writing posts more recently because I had time. So youth sports haven't started yet. They're about to start next week, and then my world ends. Basketball this time, we'll see. We avoided wrestling this season because pandemic.
Touching
faces.
Probably a good idea.
So, yeah. I'm at Overlanding Dad, Twitter and Instagram. Ross at no, not like the one from Friends. I have to read it every time.
Me too.
Like, subscribe on YouTube, rate and review us on iTunes. They're still positive, so I know we haven't made it yet. No one's hated on us.
Once we get shat on the first time, we'll know.
Now I've probably opened the door to somebody to be pissed off and angry at us.
Yeah.
They'll probably say Ross sniffs too much.
Probably. Oh my God, I had to stop taking my allergy medicine, all my antihistamines, because I have a doctor's appointment next week and I'm fucking dying.
So sorry to the listener. I can't mute those.
I know. I wish I could mute them in my head. It doesn't feel very good.
I feel for you, bud.
Ugh.
All right, that's it. That's
okay.
our show. Thanks, Dustin.
Thanks, Dustin.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me, guys. Have a safe and happy New Year. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.